After having my girls, I realized I'm not really afraid anymore. I'm more afraid of not trying. What's up, y'all? Y'all know how we gotta start these videos. Always lighting candle. That's how these talks go. Set the vibe. But what's up, everyone? I appreciate y'all for being here. And this isn't a normal video. It's not our normal content. It's actually coming out of nowhere. I wanted to take some time to introduce myself, introduce the channel, talk about what I want to get into with this channel. We're closing in on 100 subscribers in my first month, and honestly, it's a huge deal. I know 60 something people subscribing doesn't seem like a lot, but to me, it means a lot. 60 people taking time out their day to watch me yap about video games. The way I look at it, I couldn't fit 60 people in this basement, so I feel like I'm already winning. But yeah, thank y'all for hitting the subscribe. Thank y'all for liking, for commenting, for having conversations. It's really appreciated. So first of all, I'm 35 years old. I'm a girl dad. I have a soon-to-be 7-year-old actually next week, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they know me as the game dad. That's accurate. The only thing I love more than video games is my family, actually. I've wanted to dive into YouTube for a long time, but my imposter syndrome and my, insecurities and fears, they always eat away at me. And I think that's normal. I'm starting to feel like a lot of people feel that way. Even now, I still have trouble looking directly at the camera, something I'm working on. But I keep thinking to myself, who really wants to hear me yap and talk about the stuff I'm passionate about? Yeah, here we are. We're on the other side of 50 subscribers, and I'm grateful. Straight up, straight up. I took the leap and started this because of my girls. I preach to them, dream big, and don't be afraid to fail. That's my big thing. The only time you fail is if you stop. If you stop trying, you failed. Now that I'm filming this, I'm thinking back and realizing that the imposter syndrome's been there from day one. I remember in 2008, I applied for a job to write for a gaming site, and I had to submit a 1,000-word review of whatever game I wanted. And I wrote the review, and I was doubting myself. I'm like, no one wants to read this. This is crap. And I had a friend that convinced me to submit it, and lo and behold, I got hired. And that job was one of the best jobs I ever had, and the people that I worked with are still my friends to this day. And I got to travel with that job. I crossed out a bucket list item. Got to go to E3 as press. That's back when you couldn't go in as just a regular person. You had to have a press badge. Comic Cons, PAX. It was a good time, And I got to write about the thing I loved the most. And then that ended, and there was like a void. And I knew I really wanted to do YouTube, and I was just scared. And after having my girls, I realized I'm not really afraid anymore. I'm more afraid of not trying. I'm not afraid of not being good enough anymore. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm good enough for them, and that's all I really need. So with that said, I really want to dig into the channel and say that I have some big plans and dreams for the channel, and that's what I want to use the bulk of this video to talk about. First and foremost, video games. That's what I want to talk about. If you're here for console war content or gaming drama, this isn't the channel for you. I'm not into that. I'm all about the positivism in the hobby. That doesn't mean I won't give a harsh review when warranted. That is. In the past, I've been a tough critic. The folks at the site I used to write for, called 2DX, they'll tell you I was one of the tougher critics. I even have a video on this channel saying that we're in the middle of the worst video game console generation ever. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy gaming anymore. When I say I'm not here for drama or negativity, I mean I don't subscribe to tribalism or any of the negativity that's cropped up on social media around video games in the last few years. That's what I mean. I'm not into any of that. I'm into talking about video games, the games we love, the games that we wanted to love, the games that we've played. And that's because video games, they've always been my escape. I grew up in a really rough neighborhood in the Bronx, and gaming kept me off the streets, out of trouble. I honestly owe a lot to it. It's even my profession. It's the reason I do what I do. I work in tech. Obviously, YouTube isn't my day job, and gaming piqued my curiosity for technology. Like I remember looking at health bars and wondering, how do you program those? How do you build those? Enemy patterns, how are those created? How are controls configured? I've always been obsessed early on. I love honestly everything about video games: the design, the development, the music, especially the music. Some of my highest highs have come from gaming. There are very few things that I have in my life that have lit up my soul the way I remember starting Ocarina of Time for the first time, and hearing Epona Gallop, and then that melody kicks in. Yeah, that's one of those moments that if I could relive that moment and not change anything, I would. And that's what it's all about. Some people have comfort foods. I have comfort games. I go back to Sonic 3 anytime I have a really, really rough week. Pop on Sonic 3, and that's my pick me up. Like you can't stay down hearing that music in that OST, and those beautiful sprites and how bright the game was. It's just that's it. And gaming was truly the gateway into like nerd culture for me. Early on, I sort of realized I wasn't really like the other kids. I used to like staying to myself, and other kids, the kids I hung out with, they liked video games, but they weren't obsessive about it. Like I would read EGMs and Game Pros and Game Informers, Nintendo Power, like scouring the screenshots. I would read cover to cover, and just be sitting there waiting for the next month. This is like pre-internet, like waiting for the next issue next month so I could just get into it. I would read the reader mail, every detail, all the reviews, didn't matter. And then, this led to me being deemed a nerd. And this is before being a nerd was cool. I don't know if a lot of y'all remember that. If you're 30 plus, you remember it. I picked up comic books, anime, manga, cards, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. And I still remember having to hand copies of video games under the lunch table so like the bullies wouldn't notice. And yeah, that's really what it's about for me. I took a lot of pride in being a nerd when I was younger, even now. And video games and nerd culture have imprinted on me so much so that I have a whole leg covered in nerdy gaming tattoos. And we'll cover some tattoos on the channel. Like that's something else I'm really obsessed with. Like in time, I really, really want to share the stuff that I'm passionate about: cooking, fitness. Like I used to be a big boy, yeah, like a big, big, big boy. And I also want to introduce you guys to my friends. I have some really cool friends that do some really cool stuff. Iggy, for instance, he's the guy that hooked me up with that Sega Genesis and that he recapped, fixed up. There's a video on the channel. I'll link it. And the dude, you could talk to him about hardware, modding for hours, and he's just like a treasure trove of knowledge. And then I went to interview my buddy Larry. He actually helps me with editing and has taught me a lot about editing because, I jumped into this knowing very little about video editing. Audio editing, I've always been good at because of podcasts. But he's taught me everything about content creation that I know now. The dude's like a technical genius. And then my good friend Isaac, he has his own YouTube channel, Twitch. I'll link that also in the description. The dude's a walking encyclopedia for film, anime, manga, comic books, like more so than me. And the guy's amazing. I could spend hours talking to this dude. And yeah, I'll share his channel so you guys can go check him out. And there are a lot of people in my life that I really want to sit down and interview on the channel and introduce y'all to. But most importantly, I want to show my girls that if you apply yourself, like put into work and are genuine with people, you'll be able to accomplish whatever you want. I'm building up the channel, building a community, creating content that's engaging, but I also want to be genuine. And I know it'll be hard work, but at the end of the day, I remind myself, this is how I get over my imposter syndrome. I remind myself that while I was in college, I worked 3 jobs. while doing a double major. So I know the hard work's going to pay off. And I just want to thank everyone for being here and for being part of the channel. It's a blessing. I'm going to continue to make content. As I find more time and we start growing, I'll find other things to incorporate and have more videos a week. Right now, I'm aiming for one video a week, minimum, and some stuff on Twitch where you guys can follow me there. That's also in my bio. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. I'm going to continue to improve. I'm going to continue to work on eye contact with the camera, the small things. But yeah, it's been amazing to see the growth. I know it might not be thousands of subscribers, but it's people, and that's all that matters to me. Appreciate y'all. Peace.